Hi, welcome to whatever this channel is. Story times, vlogs, whatever I'm going to do on this channel. Anyway, so this is a story time video of the time I met Busted for the first time and a little background of how I met Busted. And then if you enjoy the story, I can got plenty more stories. You just pop it in the comments about what are the stories that you want to hear and I'll do them. If you're new to this channel, subscribe and let's get to the story time. So, little me discovers Busted. Little angsty ridden me, should I say. Me who can't leave the house, can't be in groups, bullied for liking Busted. So that made it worse. Great. So, I discover Busted. I love them. Get all the CDs, magazines, got the poster on the wall, your whole shebang. I discovered them when they become on Top of the Pops for the first time and I just fell in love. Great band, great guys, great music. I was invested, let's say. So I got invested. When it comes to their tour time, me, could I get a tour ticket? No, I couldn't bring myself to go out in the crowds. Do I regret that? 100% I regret that. But it is what it is now, and I'm glad I have what I have now, and how many times I've seen the boys, and how many times I'm going to see them in the future, because let's face it, I'm going to see them a lot more. So, but at that time, concerts were a no-go for me. I couldn't do it. I felt sick to my stomach. I could not do it. Anyway, I get introduced to McFly through the Busted. They toured with them and I got to know them. Obviously, I didn't see them on tour, but I obviously got to hear about it, seen videos and press and everything else you can think of. So the McFly pictures went up with the Busted posters. The McFly CDs went with the Busted CDs. The magazines McFly on, I brought with magazines that Busted together. Awesome. And then I was invested in McFly as well as Busted. And then I come home, put on the TV, and there's a press conference on telly. There had been a bit of rumbling that day, the day before, about Busted breaking up. But there was this press conference and Busted was sat there and I was just like, okay, Busted are no more. Wonderful. Me, I blame McFly. For about 3 weeks, I want to say about 3 weeks I blame McFly. Until I got to my senses and realised that actually they're grown men and they had differences at the time and that's why they broke up and Charlie wants to go do his thing, which is fair enough. He was a grown ass man. He wants to do his thing. Matt and Charlie, Matt and James, awesome. Yeah, I just blame McFly for 3 weeks straight. Do I regret that? Yeah. Because I was just like, McFly come on the scene, Busted leave. That's a bit of a coincidence. They're intertwined. That's a bit of a coincidence. Did Busted bring McFly on the scene so they can disappear? No. Michelle, you're too much of a conspiracy theorist. Get that tinfoil hat off your head and realise that they just had differences and Charlie wants to go and do his thing, which is awesome. Because his thing was awesome. He's talking solo and fight style. Oh my god, how good were they? Anyway, I digress. So, I'm in Yarmouth where I live and McFly announced for a summer festival round the corner on the beach from where I am. I'm like, can I pick up the courage, grab a ticket and go? Because I am in love with McFly. I am in love with Busted. I wish Busted would come back, but I know they're not going to. Pigs can fly if they're coming back. Let's face it. Little did I know. And so I'm invested in McFly. I'm going to put all my energy into McFly now. I put it all into both bands. Now I'm going to put it into one. So I go, I get a ticket, I pluck up the courage, I go. I have a total meltdown when I get there. I'm standing next to VIP and I'm having a total meltdown. I can't deal with the crowds. I can't deal with myself. I'm having a panic attack. Katie Price is standing on the other side of the VIP bit, and she sees what I'm doing and my panic attack. She speaks to security and gets me taken into VIP, and where it's much calmer, much cooler, much more relaxed, and I chill out. She gets me some water. Well, I get security to get me some water, and she's like checking I'm all right. She's a really nice girl. Side note, and I hate all the bad press that she gets, but she don't help herself. And but anyway, I digress again. She was lovely. She made sure I was okay, and they took me out the back to like chill for a minute, you know. And I see McFly there. I'm like, oh, that's helping with my anxiety and my panic attack, isn't it? Of course it is. No. I'm like, I need to get out of here. Like, so that's when I seen them for the first time, McFly, and I didn't speak to them. They were there. I didn't speak to them. Head down, get out of there. That ain't happening. I'm like, oh my God. So I go back. Katie Price makes sure I'm standing next to her. We see the gig. Her fella, Peter Andre, McFly. It was cool. I was a lot more better in VIP. I'm freaking out inside, but not as much as what in the general. And the crowd. It was just way too much for me. I don't know how little me thought I could go from no concerts at all, that I can't do it, to the whole beach full of tens of thousands of people all standing, no seats, no nothing, standing all day in the boiling heat, because it was like one of the hottest days of the year. Yes, great idea, Michelle. Great idea, Shelley. Nah. Anyway, it was okay. I liked the McFly part. Got that, went home. Awesome. So then, I was like, I need to see McFly properly. I want to see them in a seated venue. A bit more security, a bit less manic, if you will. Like, I'm going to try that and see if I can get through it. They announced that Royal Albert Hall show, and I'm like, no, they announced shows in Norwich, and I couldn't get tickets because I didn't know how to get tickets, and I was gutted because little me, who's a concert no-goer, I couldn't get tickets. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to do second sights. I didn't know how to buy them off people who couldn't go anymore, that kind of thing. Now I can get you a ticket like that. I know how to do it. I'm an expert. But yeah, I couldn't get them. And then they announced the Royal Albert Hall gig, so I tried again. All 3 days, sold out. Not a chance of me getting a ticket for that, baby. Live stream it is, because they're live streaming it. Wonderful. They're live streaming one of the nights. I'm like, okay. And then I'm watching it. I have no spoilers from the night before, because I think it was the second night. Second or third? They live streamed. I can't quite remember, but they live streamed one of the nights. But there was one of the nights before, so I tried to cut off all spoilers. I was like, I'm not doing that. And this is when I just started up my whole Twitter feed and stuff. So thank God for Twitter, because I had met so many nice people through Twitter. Thank God, in the fandom. Anyway, so I'm like, I'll just watch the live stream, and I cut off all spoilers, and then I'm watching it, bobbing along in my house. Yeah, loving this. Then it all went black. Some music come on. I knew what was about to happen. Before it even happened, I was gobsmacked. Matt and James popped up on stage. McBusted lit up at the back of the stage. I am livid that I did not get a ticket for this show. This is my only time I'm going to get seen James and Matt, isn't it? It is, isn't it? Like, I blew my whole chance. I'm never going to see these guys again. Unless it's solo, maybe. Maybe. Like, I don't know. But this is the closest I was going to get to Busted anyhow. Wasn't it? It was, wasn't it? Well, McBusted became a thing, didn't it? Very much a thing. Little me, like, I am going to McBusted. I am getting a chair and going to McBusted. A seated ticket. I know it says a B stage. I'm going there. I'm going to the B stage. I'm going to be close, but insecure in my little chair, away from my little personal space, and I'll be cool. And it was around this time I got a job at Britain's Got Talent, so my confidence was building, and I slowly started building my confidence, and I was doing things that I didn't think I'd be able to do. Like my first shift on Britain's Got Talent was in Cardiff. I got my arse over to Cardiff on my own, never been to Cardiff in my life, and started my new job. What the hell was that, Michelle? Because that's not you. That wasn't you. Who was that? Who's that confident little girl? Going all the way to Cardiff to start a new job with new people and a whole new career? What is that? I shocked myself. So my confidence is slowly creeping up, building, and I don't know it yet. I know it now looking back. I don't know it this time because I'm still in the process of building on it. Anyway, I digress. We were at this concert having the best time of my freaking life with my friend Emma and Rachel, and we're having the best day ever, and that's all I can say. I loved every freaking minute. The UFO coming down, the fucking everything on stage. I am in love. I am invested. I'm like, McBusted need to be here forever, because this is the only way I'm getting both bands, and Busted ain't coming back. So but what about McFly? I love McFly. I'm gutted. Like, I want McFly. I'm hoping that they'll be able to swing it so McFly can do their thing and McBusted do a thing. Is it going to be too much on the McFly? This is all going through my head. I'm like, oh my god. But Busted and McBusted need to be a thing. What the hell? Charlie, he's not a part of this. But in my heart, I'm like, I'm missing Charlie. I am missing Charlie, but I'm going to accept James and Matt and McFly and McBusted, because this is the closest I'm getting to my favourite band ever. With my second favourite band ever. Like, what is this? What is this witchiness? I can't deal. So this is all going through my head while I'm sat there in the concert having the best day ever. James there sitting on the UFO, sitting dangling his legs, playing a bit of acoustic guitar. I'm like, I'm sold. I'm sorry, I'm sold. This has to be forever. It can't be just a one-off tour. There has to be another tour. There has to be another tour, because this ain't going to be the end. It's not. It's not going to be the end. I can't deal. So I go back to the hotel, buzzing from the night. And we're laying in bed. And this is the first night, like this was the first night in Birmingham. They're doing 2 nights. So we booked the tickets for the next night, didn't we? We only had tickets for that one night, but we booked tickets for the next night. We were like, we're doing it. We're going all out. We're going to play again. Book the hotel for the second night. We're doing it. We're watching McBusted play again. We go. B stage again. We were lucky. Okay. Like, we were lucky with our tickets. And watch them play. Best day ever. Walk out there and thinking, I can't do this. I've got to go and see them again. And then I'm looking at the tour and I can't go to any of the other dates until this. You got to think that I'm still not there with my confidence level, so I'm not travelling all over the country following them at this point in time, because like I can maybe do a few. Like, I was trying to put myself out of my comfort zone and for something that I loved, and I can do it. I can do it. But I didn't do any of the dates. But then they announced summer shows, and my friend Emma's like, do you want to come to Ipswich? And I'm like, I'll come to Ipswich, which is a summer show outside festival type thing, yeah? I'm like, scared out of my wits. But I get myself a golden circle ticket. I get there the night before. We camp out all night and we get to the front row. I'm front row James. I have the best day ever. I've never seen anything like it. Up close, everything. I can see their expressions right there. Their movements, everything. Dougie done the catwalk down here. Just blown away. I was just like, if I do a concert again, I'm going to have to be front row. Because nothing's going to settle me out of this. It's got to be front row or we'll bust. Because I can't do back there again. And that's when I realised that actually I can do concerts. I can go absolutely crazy and see all the shows I want to see. Hallelujah. So they bring out an album, don't they? And I'm like, McBusted are going to do another tour. My little heart is so happy. But before all that, they do a little radio show, secret show called Dino and Pete. Dino and Pete? Dino and Pete. Dino and Pete. Dino and Pete. One of them. In Nottingham. It's a little radio show. It's on at 7 AM. So I had to stay overnight in Nottingham the night before. I took my little brother with me this time. Mum got me and him a ticket for my birthday present. God bless you, Mum. And then we went the night before, stayed in a hotel, and went down there 6 AM. Because it was only, like, it was all seated. So it was no mad panic. And it was only a small venue of like 200 people, I want to say. And and it was a secret show, so there was no big crowds there. So no one knew the location apart from ticket holders, which we got told like not long before the show type thing. We just knew it was in Nottingham. Nottingham. I'll get my words out today. And so we're having a good time. Like, because it's a radio show, they play music in between, like interviewing Busted and Busted doing their own set on there and whatnot. And there's adverts and things like that. So I'm there like, James. And James like that. And I'm like, oh my God, little me, little fat girl me. Oh my God, James is waving at me. Hi. And then there's a big long segment of adverts or whatever they're doing in the show, but the boys are just chilling on stage, and James sort of waves. So I'm like, me, jump up. So I jump up, and the other boys in McBusted take note, and they come to the front of the stage, and people jump up then, and then they start taking pictures with people, and James sort of like signaled me over, so he gives me a big hug, and I'm like, oh my God, I waited 13 years for that, and he's just like hugs me tighter, and then I grab a quick snap of me and him, and then we're getting told to go back to our seats, and he's like, oh, I'm like, and then we're like, so I go back to my seat, and I'm like, my little heart, what just happened? And the girl's behind like, oh my God, what was that about? And I was like, I don't know what's just happened there, but it was the best ever. So come out of the gig, and it was so much fun, and me and my brother were outside, and we're speaking to this girl and her fella, and the lads go round the back to see if there's a stage door, if the boys are coming out or whatever, and they come back and said no, they've driven out, they've gone. We're like, okay, so fair enough. So me and my brother head back to our hotel to go and pick our bags up before getting the train, and we have to walk down a sort of side street where there's a hotel there, and to get to our hotel, and my little brother goes, Matt, and I'm like, what? Like that, and Matt's just in the boot, like in the back of the boot, like putting something in the boot of the car, and he looks up, he's like, hey guys, and I'm like, oh, it is Matt, hi. And I'm like, hi Matt, like, and he's like, you've just been to the show? And I'm like, yeah, it was awesome, we're just heading back to our hotel, and you know, just bumped into you. And he's like, yeah, do you want a picture? And I'm like, yeah, please. And he's like, so what do you think of the show? And he was like chatting away, asking us what we thought of the show, where we come from, how far we travelled, etc, etc. It was really good, like really cool. And I was just like, oh my god, what do I do? Because I am freaking out, little unconfident me. And that's James and Matt, and that's Busted. And I've got a photo of 2 out of 3 are busted so far, and I'm like, oh my god, like I'm never gonna get this chance again. Yeah, right, okay then, Michelle. And then I go to say bye, and I'm walking away, and then Tommy, their manager, comes out, and he's like, oh hey, you just been to the show? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you spoke to Matt? I'm like, yeah. He was in putting stuff in the boot, and he said hi, and he's like, well, you stand by the wall and be really quiet. The rest of the lads will be out in a sec. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah. He's like, just keep calm. Don't bring any attention to this area. I'll say hi. I'm like, oh, thank you. Like that. So I'm standing by the wall, like, really awkward, like, oh, what's going on? My little brother's like awkward, like, this is awkward, and looking like a fangirl. Like, he's trying to be too cool for school. Like, I'm not a fangirl. Like, I need to get out. And then, like, the boys come out, and then my little brother becomes a fangirl. No, I'm joking, Richard, I'm joking. No, he was cool. Tom come out first, and we said hi to Tom, and then I got a photo with Tom, and as I was getting a photo with Tom, James come out, so Richie went over to James, because Richie's a bit of more of a Busted fan than the McFly fan, so he wanted to get to Matt and James, which is fair enough. And so I'm like trying to get to as many of them as possible, because I don't know when if I'm ever gonna see them again. Probably not, I'm thinking. That's a lie. And then James is standing there like, weren't you paying attention to me? He's looking at me like, and I'm like trying to get a picture with Tom. And Dougie, oh my god, Dougie, he jumped straight in the car, and I'm like, that's rude. Like, joke in my head, I was joking about it in my head, thinking that's rude. And then Dougie's like, oh, you want a picture? And then he's shutting the door, and they're like, he's like, oh my god, no, like that. And then he's like holding the door, and he's like, ah, like that. And then like he falls back, and then the door shuts off the car, and he's just like, and then I'm just like, okay. And then the door opens again. He goes, quick, get in, get a picture. And then he like the door shuts again, and then it opens again, and he's like pissing her out like that. And then he eventually like gives me a hug and whatever. And he's really cool. That was funny. And yeah, so I got pictures of them and a little chat with them, and they were really awesome. But they were in a rush; they had to get going. So I was like, bye. And then we went back to the hotel, got my bags, went home. I'm thinking, that is awesome. I ain't seen them again though, but I did it. I met them. I'm so happy. And then they did an album signing, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to see them again. But this time it's not going to be as cool, because, well, it's going to be cool because I'm getting an album and I'm going to see them, but it's just going to be a quick hi, sign, and gone. No photos, that sort of thing. In my head, that's what I'm thinking. So I go to London, meet up my friend Jade and Connie and a few others, and we're having the best day, chilling out. We thought we'd spend the whole day in London kind of thing, you know, because we've all got to travel a bit. And we're having lunch outside Facebook headquarters. And then McBusted walk out. They were in Facebook headquarters. And I'm like, hi? And they were like, hi? And I'm like, oh my god. And then they were like, our car's all the way around the other street. Like, we got to walk quite a distance to get to this car. Walk with us and talk, and then we'll do photos at the car. I'm like, okay, I can do that. So we're walking. We're all walking in a group, but I'm walking beside James mostly, and he's like, hi. I'm like, hi. And then we all start singing, and I can't fully remember what was being said, but we were just, the whole group of us, my friends and McBusted, were just like firing banter off for each other, and like Harry's throwing pencils at us, Harry's taking photos of us, like we're all having big jokes, and we're all laughing, and we stood outside their car for ages just laughing and joking, and just pissing about basically. And then we get our photos. I say bye to them all, and we all get hugs, and they all get in the car, and they're like, oh, you coming to the signing later? And we're like, oh yeah, that's why we're in London, we're coming to the signing. And they're like, we'll see you later then. And we're like, well, we'll see you at the signing. Right, okay, we'll see you in a few hours. Like that. So off they trot, and then we go to the signing, and James is like, there they are. And we walk in, and we're like, hi. And yeah, and we got a CD signed, and then we went. So that's not exciting, but I can't believe we seen them outside Facebook before we went to the signing. That was just crazy. Excuse me. That was just crazy. And yeah, so that was the first few times I met Busted. Like, obviously I'd done a bit of backstory there, so it's a bit long, and hopefully you're not bored. And if you want more stories, like I said at the start, then just pop it in the comments. I've got plenty of Busted stories. If you want them, you just got to refresh my memory. If you've ever seen any of my posts, or if there's any questions or anything like that, pop them in the comments. I'm not totally going to do story time content, but I thought I'd do story time today and sort of give a background of Busted, because that's what a lot of people that follow me on Twitter and Instagram and that are my friends know me for. So I thought I'd give a little back story to that, and then we can go from there. Like, if you want more Busted story times, I'm quite happy to do them. And I'll go into more detail without all the back story and probably what bored you to tears. But if you do like it, just give me a like, give me a comment, subscribe if you're new. Like, hi, I'm Michelle, how are you? And just, we'll go from there. I might do like a vlog of something if I'm going somewhere, or anything like that. Just if you want anything from me, just pop it in the comments and we'll go from there. So have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next one.